He enters her house, and forcefully gets his hands on her juicy melons, pinning her to the ground, while preparing to let his third brother get swallowed by her wet pussy cat. This is a captivating drama and romance movie made in the early 2000s. If you want to know the name of the movie, make sure you keep watching till the end. Our protagonist's name is Timoteo, a wealthy surgeon, who is pulled out from an operation room, upon hearing his 15-year-old daughter had been involved in a critical motorcycle accident. Having any relationship with the girl, his other colleague demands he wait for her operation outside. Although the rate of the operation's success was too little, Timoteo already prepared his mind for the inevitable. Looking outside, he sees a young woman through the window pulling a chair and sitting facing away from him under the heavy rain. Noticing her prominent red shoe, he gets frightened before reminiscing about the love affair he had several years ago with a woman, Italia. After getting stranded on the streets just outside town, the woman Italia decides to invite Timoteo into her home, and allow him to make use of her phone. Our intoxicated Timoteo enters her dilapidated apartment, and forces himself on her. Although as the time progresses Timoteo visits the woman, Italia, and always takes advantage of the perfectly shaped oranges hanging off of her chest. Later, it is revealed he falls in love with her, though already has a beautiful wife, Elsa. Sometime later, Elsa, Timoteo's wife, notices her husband's absent mind. She goes to the sitting room, and gives him one of the best hormone sandwiches we would see in the entire movie, exposing her smooth curvy legs and sensitive way to eat her. Timoteo would continue to visit his new lover every day, until he finds out she was pregnant in the middle of a fun game at the bar. Having the resolve to let his wife know about his recent actions, but just as he is about to come clean, he discovers that Elsa, his wife too, is pregnant. Timoteo now is in a deep dilemma, and is unable to gather enough courage to inform his wife of her current state. To his indecisiveness, Italia misinterprets his confusion to him having no commitment at all, and she sees this a betrayal and is heartbroken for not keeping the end of his bargain. Subsequently, Timoteo finds out Italia had gotten an abortion. This drives the two into a rather vicious verbal exchange, where we learn Italia as a little girl was taken advantage of by her father. Heartbroken, as the one thing Timoteo wished was to have a child with her. After a whopping 9 months, Timoteo is shopping with his wife. When they board a taxi, Timoteo spots Italia in a crowd that rainy night, but he soon loses her figure. Catching up to her, he profusely begged with passion, asking for her forgiveness. Despite her initial anger and bitterness, Italia forgave him, finding out the reason why he couldn't leave his wife. There on that spot, as if the two had long craved for each other, Timoteo rubs lips with Italia effervescently, and they get into another class of hormone sandwich, under the rain, out in the open, caring less. Elsa puts to bed, and they name her Angela. Although everyone is happy about the newborn, Elsa is still able to decode her husband's behavior, and into sensing he wasn't all fine even about the news. Shortly, Timoteo learns from Italia that she would be moving away, back to her hometown. Lying to his wife he at work, he drove Italia down to her hometown. During their journey, in a restaurant, he proposes to marry Italia unethically, as his feelings for her grew stronger and larger just by engaging in conversation and staring at her face all the way. During dinner he refers to Italia as his wife, while conversing with the waitress. Later in the night, Timoteo is abruptly awoken by the cries of Italia, as she is tortured by the excruciating pain reliving in her abdomen. Desperate, Timoteo takes her to a nearby local hospital. He takes it upon himself to perform surgery on her, after an ultrasound reveals her stomach was filled with blood. The reason was the abortion she carried out was too unprofessional, and the end result was her losing her life, even after gaining consciousness, and smiling at him. A painfully anguished feeling where words couldn't describe. His flashback ends after a nurse and fellow surgeon informs him that his daughter had been stabilized and regained her consciousness. He visits his daughter, and shed tears with every manly courage he had left with him. Later his wife even comes to him, after crying on the phone upon hearing her daughter was involved in an accident. She promised her unconscious daughter to shave her own hair entirely, and make both of them resemble little rascals, and take pictures until it grows back up again. The lady who sat down under the rain brought out a mirror, and after the announcement of Timoteo's daughter's safety, she smiled in the mirror, as if that was her primary aim. A lady having a resemblance to Italia. So friends, as we promised, the name of this movie is Don't Move, which was released in 2004. In the final proceedings, a calm Timoteo walks out of the hospital, and goes outside while holding Italia's red shoe, which she had lost on the way to the hospital before her death, and that the funeral company had refused to put in her casket. This was the only thing of Italia he had preserved for many years. He kisses the shoe as a way to show thanks for coming out to save his daughter. He placed the shoe at the exact same spot where he had imagined seeing the woman, resembling his very true love. As if returning the shoe to her, the movie ends at this touching sight.